Okay, so ready to dive into a story that I think really kind of changed the world.
Oh, yeah.
It's 1972,
Okay.
Munich Olympics.
All right.
Um, and, just picture this, the world is watching, athletes are all set for, the games of peace and joy.
Right.
And then, like, everything just goes dark.
Yeah, it's a moment that really kind of encapsulates how fragile peace can be. You have this global event.
Yeah.
It's meant to, showcase unity and sportsmanship, and then all of a sudden it becomes a stage for international conflict and terrorism.
Yeah, and it all starts with, this wrestling referee,
Okay.
a guy named Yesef Gut.
Hmm.
And it's the early morning hours of September 5th.
Right.
He's in his apartment in the Olympic Village.
Yeah.
And someone's trying to force their way into his room.
Oh,
And
wow.
he's startled awake.
Yeah, you can practically feel the tension building there.
Yeah.
This isn't just, a prank or something.
Yeah.
This is a coordinated attack. And Yusuf, he manages to slam the door shut,
Wow.
buys himself some time, but these intruders, they're armed members of Black September.
Black September, a Palestinian terrorist group,
Right.
determined to make a statement on the world stage.
Exactly.
And they chose the Olympics, a symbol of global unity
Yeah.
as their platform.
It's a chilling reminder that even in moments of celebration, vulnerability can be lurking right there in the shadows.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And two of the Israeli athletes
Right.
are killed right away resisting the terrorists.
Mm-hmm.
9 others are taken hostage.
Wow.
And the demands are clear. The release of over 200 Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails.
Okay.
And they set a deadline.
Oh, gosh.
The world is holding its breath.
Yeah.
Everyone's scrambling,
Right.
trying to figure out how to resolve this without bloodshed.
This is where you see the real complexity of this situation unfolding.
Yeah.
You have the German authorities caught between a rock and a hard place. They can't give in to the terrorist demands. Right. That would set a dangerous precedent.
Of course.
But they also desperately want to protect the lives of these athletes.
It's just a high-stakes negotiation playing out on a global stage.
Absolutely.
Deadlines are extended, alternative offers are made, anything to try and de-escalate the situation.
Right.
But Black September refuses to budge.
And what's so fascinating here is that this event, it really exposed the limitations of those traditional approaches to dealing with terrorism.
Mhm.
There's no playbook.
Right.
There are no easy answers.
Yeah.
Every decision carries this immense weight and potential consequences.
So eventually, Black September demands safe passage to Egypt,
Okay.
along with the hostages.
All right.
The Germans outwardly agree,
Right.
but secretly they're planning an ambush at the airport,
Oh, wow.
hoping to end the crisis without further loss of life.
It's a gamble that ultimately fails, and tragically so.
Yeah.
The German authorities, they underestimated the terrorists' strength.
Mhm.
The snipers weren't in the right positions. Communication was a nightmare.
It was a complete disaster.
Yeah.
The ambush turned into this chaotic shootout.
Right.
A grenade exploded in the helicopter,
Oh, my God.
meant to transport the hostages.
Right.
And in the end, all 9 Israeli hostages were killed, along with 5 of the terrorists and a German police officer.
Just a horrific end to what was supposed to be a celebration of peace and sport.
Yeah.
The world was left reeling, grappling with the aftermath of this senseless tragedy.
Yeah, but this is just the beginning of the story.
Right.
The ramifications of this event would stretch far beyond the Munich Olympics, shaping global security, international relations,
Right.
even the future of the Olympic Games themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much more to uncover here.
For sure.
The immediate aftermath of the Munich massacre, it was pure chaos.
Yeah.
Right? The world was just in shock.
Yeah, how could something so horrific happen at an event that was supposed to symbolize global unity?
Yeah. And then you have the families of the athletes just utterly devastated.
Absolutely. Their loved ones went to Munich to represent their country, to compete, and instead, their lives were tragically cut short.
Yeah. The global response was just this mixture of grief, anger, and I think a desperate need to understand how this could have happened.
Absolutely. A lot of people were calling for increased security at international events.
Right.
There were debates about how to deal with terrorism, how to prevent something like this from ever happening again.
So let's talk about the perpetrators for a second.
Okay.
What happened to the surviving members of Black September?
Well, 3 terrorists were captured alive during that botched rescue attempt at the airport.
Okay.
They were put on trial in Germany. But here's where things get even more complicated.
Okay.
Just a few weeks later, another group of Palestinian terrorists hijacked a Lufthansa plane.
Oh, wow.
and demanded the release of those 3 prisoners.
So essentially, they used another act of terrorism to free their comrades.
Exactly, and what's shocking is that the West German government caved to their demands. They released the terrorists, who were then celebrated as heroes in some parts of the Arab world.
Wow. It's almost unbelievable.
Uh,
It seems like a complete failure of justice, like a slap in the face to the victims and their families.
Absolutely. It fueled outrage and criticism both within Germany and internationally.
Right.
Many people accused West Germany of being weak in the face of terrorism, of setting a dangerous precedent that would only embolden future attacks.
It really just exposed those challenges of dealing with terrorism on a global scale.
Yeah.
I mean, what are the options when a group is willing to go to such extreme lengths, right?
Exactly. And you can't forget about Israel's response to the Munich massacre.
Right.
I mean, they were understandably furious.
Yeah.
Prime Minister Golda Meir authorized Operation Wrath of God.
What was that?
It was a covert operation specifically aimed at hunting down and eliminating those responsible for planning and executing the attack.
So essentially a full-on revenge mission.
In a sense, yes, Israeli intelligence agents went to work tracking down members of Black September across Europe and the Middle East.
Wow.
Over the next 2 decades, they systematically targeted and killed those believed to be involved in the Munich massacre.
That's a heavy story. It sounds like something out of a spy thriller.
It does, doesn't it?
These operations were shrouded in secrecy, right?
Absolutely, and incredibly controversial.
Yeah.
Some people praised Israel for taking decisive action, for sending a clear message that terrorism would not go unpunished.
Right.
But others criticized the extrajudicial killings as violations of international law, argues they only perpetuated a cycle of violence.
It's just such a morally complex issue. It highlights the different ways that nations respond to terrorism,
Yeah.
with some advocating for diplomacy and negotiation while others resort to more aggressive tactics.
And there's no easy answer.
Yeah.
Both approaches have their pros and cons, and the effectiveness of each really depends on the specific context and the actors involved. But the Munich massacre really forced the world to confront these questions head on.
Okay, so it really had a profound impact on international relations, law enforcement, how countries think about counterterrorism strategies. But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
How did this event change the Olympics themselves?
Well, before Munich, security at the Olympic Games was fairly relaxed.
Yeah, those games of peace and joy that we talked about.
Exactly. There was this prevailing belief that the spirit of the games, this international goodwill, would somehow transcend political conflicts.
Right.
Munich shattered that illusion.
Yeah. It's a stark reminder that even the most celebrated global events can be targeted by those who want to just spread fear and chaos.
Exactly. And the International Olympic Committee realized they had to take security far more seriously.
Of course.
Future games saw dramatically increased police presence, stricter access control, surveillance technology. I mean, everything changed.
Well,
The carefree atmosphere of previous Olympics was gone, replaced by a heightened sense of security and vigilance.
it's understandable, of course, given the tragedy that unfolded.
Yeah.
But it's also a bit sad, isn't it?
It is.
This beautiful idea of the Olympics, this global gathering of athletes, forever tainted by this horrific act.
It is sad, but it also speaks to the resilience of the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the tragedy the games went on, athletes continued to compete, countries continued to participate, and the world continued to watch, finding hope and inspiration in these acts of defiance against the forces that seek to divide us.
So the Munich massacre wasn't just a moment in history.
Right.
It was a turning point,
Yeah.
a stark before and after moment that forced the world to confront the reality of terrorism, rethink security measures, and grapple with those incredibly complex moral and political questions surrounding how to fight against such violence.
And those questions are still with us today as we continue to face threats to peace and security on a global scale.
Yeah.
The legacy of Munich continues to shape how we approach these challenges.
It's a heavy legacy, and one that raises a lot of questions about our collective responsibility to prevent such tragedies. But there's still so much more to unpack.
Absolutely.
The Munich massacre wasn't just about the events of those few days in September.
Right.
It's about the long-term ramifications, the way it continues to resonate even today. We've talked about a lot in this deep dive. The initial attack, the hostage crisis,
Yeah.
the failed rescue attempt, and the aftermath.
Right.
We've also talked about the impact on Israel on global security, even on the Olympics themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But now I want to kind of zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What can we learn from the Munich massacre? How does
Yeah.
it speak to the world we live in both then and now?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What are the lasting lessons of Munich?
Right.
One thing that really stands out to me is that terrorism isn't just a tactic,
Mm-hmm.
it's a form of communication.
Okay.
Black September, they didn't just want to free prisoners.
Right.
They wanted to make a statement.
Yeah.
They wanted to shock the world, grab headlines, force people to pay attention to their cause.
I mean, you can't deny that they achieved that, sadly. I mean, even today, decades later, we're still talking about it.
Right.
The images are seared into our collective memory.
Exactly. It really speaks to the power of terrorism as propaganda.
Yeah.
It exploits our fascination with the dramatic, the sensational,
Right.
and it uses violence to amplify its message, reaching an audience far beyond what it could ever achieve through peaceful means.
It's not just about the physical damage.
Right.
It's about the psychological impact,
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Right. That feeling of fear, uncertainty, that erosion of trust in our institutions and each other.
Exactly. Terrorism aims to create this climate of fear,
Right.
to make people feel vulnerable, to make them question everything they thought was safe and secure.
Yeah.
And sadly, it often succeeds.
And that makes it all the more important to resist that fear,
Mm-hmm.
to refuse to let the terrorists win by fundamentally changing our way of life.
Absolutely.
So how do we do that?
Right.
How do we balance the need for security with the preservation of our freedoms?
Yeah, that's the question that we're still debating today. There's no easy answer.
Right.
We have to be vigilant, of course.
Yeah.
We need to be aware of the threats and take steps to protect ourselves.
Of course.
But at the same time, we can't let fear dictate our lives.
Right.
We can't give up the very things that make life worth living.
So in a way, Munich serves as both a cautionary tale and a testament to human resilience.
Yeah.
It reminds us of the darkness that exists in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but also of our capacity to overcome tragedy and rebuild.
Absolutely. And it's a story that continues to unfold in ways both big and small.
How so?
Well, think about the airport security measures we see today,
Yeah.
the heightened security at sporting events,
Yeah.
the ongoing debate about government surveillance and privacy rights.
Huh.
All of these things are, in part, a legacy of Munich.
It's amazing how one event can have such far-reaching consequences.
It is.
How something that happened decades ago can still shape the world we live in today.
It's a reminder that history isn't just something we read about in textbooks. It's a living force that continues to influence our present and our future.
Yeah, as we wrap up this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
I'm struck by all the unanswered questions,
Yeah,
all the what-ifs that linger in the aftermath of such a tragedy.
I know.
What if security had been tighter at the Munich Olympics?
Right.
What if the rescue attempt had been successful? What if the world had responded differently?
It's tempting to dwell on those hypotheticals,
Yeah.
but ultimately we can't change the past.
Right.
What we can do is learn from it.
Yeah.
Try to understand the forces that led to that moment and work to prevent such tragedies from happening again.
You're right. We can honor the victims of Munich by working towards a future where peace and understanding prevail.
Absolutely.
And on that note, I think it's time to conclude our deep dive into this pivotal moment in history.
It's been a fascinating discussion.
It has. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.